Welcome to the Hard Truth Podcast. This is Jeremy Fouts, and today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about wisdom for 2025. You know, I felt weird by writing the word wisdom this morning when I was planning this podcast, but it seems like a podcast that an older person would use the name. But, I guess these gray hairs have given me some wisdom, and I hope that this wisdom that I give you is something that you will put to practice in your life. I've worked extremely hard at today's training to try to look back and do some reflection of my stumbles, my past, and think, man, how can I help these people get ready for a 2025? And I'm not big on New Year's resolutions. I'm not one of those type people. But I'm big on really thinking about where you want to go in 2025 and having a good plan in order to get there. So I'm going to give you those 10 points that I made for today's training, and I hope that you put them to practice. I don't want to claim to be an expert on every field, but I can tell you these 10 points that I'm going to share with you is life experiences of what's dramatically changed my life, all areas of my life. And I'm going to talk about that on the last point, number 10. So, number 1. Let's go! What up? Is clear vision. What is it do you want in 2025? I mean, you have got to determine what your clear vision. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you want to go. You're not going to get there if you do not have a clear vision. Michael Jordan had a clear vision of being the best basketball player of all time. Tom Brady wanted to be the best quarterback of all time. Warren Buffett wanted to be the best financial guy of all time. What is it that you want? People don't just be successful by accident. They have a clear vision. If you don't have a clear vision, what's going to happen is you're going to float around in 2025 and you're going to just fly here and fly there and float here and float there. And your 2025 is going to end up about what 2024 was. It's like throw it up on a mirror, look at 2024, and that's what 2025 is going to be like without a clear vision. As I was getting my pilot's license, one of the things that they told me is they said, look, you can have the best airplane in the world, but without a determination of your final destination and understanding the weather, understanding all the different things, if you don't have a plan of your destination, you will not get there. And that's what I see with 2025 as a way of you having a clear vision of where are you headed. If you don't know that, you're not going to end up where you want to be. You are the captain in command of your life. You determine. If you're listening to this podcast, my demographics tell me you're more than likely about a 28 to a 45-year-old man. That's the majority of the population. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not in your mom's house no more. Your dad's not paying your credit cards. It's time for you to say, I'm going to man up, I'm going to woman up, and my 2025 clear vision of where I want to be, put it down on paper like it says in the book of Habakkuk. If it's not written down on tablets, it means nothing. What is your clear vision, and what do you want to accomplish for the year of 2025? Number 2 is don't think small, think big. The reason people choose small is because they don't want to choose big enough just in case they fail. You will have failures in life. I've had so many different businesses. And the ones that didn't do as good as the other ones, you know what? I don't look at it as failing. I look at it as I learned a lot. Like Thomas Edison said, it wasn't the 1,000 times that I failed to make the light bulb that was failures. It was 999 times of me knowing what did not work. But here's the thing. If you want to create something big in life, then I'm going to tell you, you will have things that don't work. But I'll also tell you this, only you wanting something really, really big is going to create the mindset to push you to develop into becoming the person you need to be in order to be highly successful. That's the only way it works. So don't look at 2025 as saying, you know what, I'd like to just lose 5 pounds and look a little better. You know what, I'd like to make just $2,000 or $3,000 extra more to take my family on a vacation. Go into 2025 and say, here's my clear vision. I know it's a big goal that I want to accomplish, but I want to go for it. Number 3 is don't waste 1 minute of any day. Make the best of every day. Become efficient every day, and don't fall through the cracks of time. You know, as I've told you the story before, when I was mid-30s, 32, had a wife at home, one boy at home, 2 years old, another one on the way, no medical insurance. I put a lot of my company expenses in construction on a credit card. It was when the 2008, 2009 economy was crashing. I had a lot of people owe me money. I was at that really down point in my life. And I found a vehicle, and I told my wife, I said, give me 4 years and our family will never have to worry about money again. I wrote out a clear vision. I said, you know what? This is where I'm headed. I said, I know I'm aiming big, but that's something I've never did before because I've always been too scared for in the past. But I'm going to go for it. And I met another man that was in his 60s that had a lot of success in sales and nutrition, like what I was achieving to do. And I visited with him for quite a time. And I asked him at the end, I said, such and such, any advice you want to give a 32-year-old guy? And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, don't fall through the cracks of time. And at 48, I'm going to tell you right now, I've done a pretty decent job, but the times I didn't do a good job at this, I'm going to tell you, I regret it. And I'll tell you that the most important part of your success is don't fall through the cracks of time. See, it's not the 5 minutes on social media that's going to screw up your life right now. It's the 5 minutes now. It's the hour of Netflix later on in the day. It's the 30 more minutes of social media at night in bed. It's the 45 more minutes of playing around on your phone. It's the video games, or I don't even play video games or whatever. I mean, it's amazing to me as I fly commercial. I guarantee you if I did a poll, and the polls say 85% of the people hate what they do, but as I jump on a commercial flight, every one of them's watching a movie. Nothing wrong with the movie every once in a while. But then the rest of them are playing video games. Not one of them do I see with a personal development book. Not one of them do I see with a nutrition book or a workout book. All of them, or majority of them, are overweight. They're sipping on alcohol. They're playing a video game, and I guarantee you they'd tell you their life freaking sucks. You know why? Because they're falling through the cracks of time. They don't have a clear vision. They don't aim for a big goal, and all they're doing is falling through the cracks of time. So their 2025 is going to look just like their 2024. Their 26 is going to look just like their 25 and 24. Take control of your time and put together a plan for every day not to waste a minute. Number 4 is you don't become successful alone. It takes people in your life. Treat others as you want to be treated. Seek mentors. Learn from those that have accomplished what you want to become, and then you become a mentor to others. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about self-made millionaires and different things like that, and I'll tell you right now, I've met a lot of millionaires. I've met a lot of wealthy people. I've been fortunate to have a lot of good friends that's been highly, highly successful. Every one of them will tell you it was not self-made. Without others, you're not going to make it. You've got to treat people. You never know that one relationship that opens up a new door. Because of the way you treated them, that's the way it happens. If you own a business, your business is not going to be successful unless your customers are happy being your customers. You don't go into looking at a clear vision with a big goal and say, oh, I move away. I'm just going to do everything by myself. Now, you got to have the tenacity to do it if others quit. Don't get me wrong. But you got to say, I'm going to treat others as I want to be treated. I'm going to have love and respect for others. Now, I don't mean I've got to be a nice guy all the time and I can't just tell them the truth if they're not doing their job. But you got to understand, in order for you to be a highly successful individual, it takes others for that success to happen. Number 5, nothing is impossible. You have to believe in you. You can be the leader. You can be the millionaire. You can be the best if you get rid of vices that have a grip on your life. Let the doubters be your motivation. The doubters will be there, I promise you. Work as hard as you can with a smile on your face because you are chasing a clear vision. You know, I think it's comical when you start off with the new year, and I work out about 6 days a week, and, you know, you go to the gym, and the first 2 or 3 days, people are smiling. After about a week, they're not smiling. And then after another week, they're not showing up. And I look at that, and I think, did they have a real clear vision of what they was trying to accomplish? They'll start off in the new year and they'll show up to work early and they'll listen to a podcast like this and they get motivated and they say, man, I'm going to go get this promotion. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And then a month into their job, they all of a sudden start just showing up a little later, start working on their computers. And then they turn to social media. They do just enough to get that check. And then they have a frown on their face thinking, why is life not different? Nothing is impossible. If you believe in something big, go for it. You know, something that my boys have known since they was like 4 or 5 is when I give them a project or I push them in an athletic situation and they say, Dad, that's not possible. Nothing makes me more angry than that. And I've told them this story, I don't know how many times, and it's a simple story, but it brings to light that nothing is impossible. And it's about Richard DeVos, who needed a heart transplant. Now, this was back in the 70s, and so things are different now. But back then, he was on a wait list. He finally got a phone call, runs to the hotel, gets a new heart transplant, everything going great. After the surgery, doctor comes in, tells him everything's going great. And he said, Doc, I got a question. Who is the person that donated their heart to me? And he said, would you like to meet that person that donated their heart to you? And in a puzzled look, he said, sure, I don't understand, but I guess. 30 minutes later, a lady wheeled in on a wheelchair, or actually on a bed, and said, hey, you know, this is the lady that donated her heart to you, Richard. Richard, confused because she's smiling, and shook his hand and alive, obviously, and no machines hooked up to her. And he said, thank you, ma'am. And he said, Doc, I'm confused. He said, Richard, he said, we had someone pass away earlier this morning. And what we've learned is the missus needed a lung transplant, and lung transplants and heart transplants go better if it comes out of the same person. So we took the heart and the lungs from the person that passed away, and they placed them in the missus. And the missus had a heart left over, and she donated her heart to you. See, I know that's a simple story, but I want you to go into 2025, and when your back is against the wall and you're doubting yourself and doubters are doubting you, and, you know, family are looking and saying, why are you doing this? Why are you going to the gym at 5 o'clock? Why are you getting up early and reading a book? Why are you saying no to Netflix? Why are you not going to happy hour? Why are you not going golfing? Why are you not? It's because you have a clear vision and you say nothing is impossible. And I know what it is I want to accomplish, and it doesn't matter how hard it is, I'm going to create this for my family. Number 6, you're not entitled to anything. This is the worst expectation of all. This is the expectation of life, of waiting on other people to give you something without earning it. This is one of my sore subjects as I look through society, and this is where people are at in life. They want to work a little. They'll call me up and say, "Why am I working, but it's not working?" And I'm like, "Okay, so here's the problem. You're working because you want people to give you credit that you're working. It don't work that way. You got to work harder. It's so easy to beat the competition. You just have to show up, be on time, prepare the night before, remember people's names, follow up when you say you're going to, and try like you mean it instead of trying rather like I want to do it just to get credit that I'm doing it. The world doesn't work that way. You only get credit for winning. So in 2025, when the boss don't give you the raise or whatever, you learn a new skill, you work harder, you show up earlier. If your business don't start off good in the first quarter, you say, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm not entitled to nothing. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to become more. I'm going to be better. Because that's the only way winning works. We're not looking for credits on a video game that we just played this amount of time. We're going to say we're going to become better to go win. Number 7, become consistent and you'll become the best. This is the only way it happens. You know, I had an opportunity in my previous business before I retired and started the company I have now to speak in front of thousands and thousands of people, 10,000 in Asia, 8,000 in Costa Rica, thousands in Mexico, 8,000 at the Dallas Convention Center here in Dallas, Texas, on and on and on. And I'd have people come up to me afterwards and they'd try to tell me how awesome I was and, you're a great inspiration and I love your story and your speech meant a lot to me. And they'd always end up by saying every time, I would love to do what you do. And I'd always ask them this question: would you love to do what I did to do what I do? See, they didn't see the times when I started off with that business just as a simple nutritional rep, and I did meetings with one person, 2 people, or had a meeting planned, no one showed up, or, I went straight from construction to a truck stop to wash my hair in the sink, to change clothes, to go do a meeting with 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, 15 people. Then it went back down to 5 people, and then on for years and years and years. And I did thousands and thousands of those speeches and talked and kept on telling people about nutrition and lifestyle changes and all those different things. But see, what made me good wasn't because of a special gift. What made me good was consistent. I said, I'm going to be consistent, and whether it's 2 people or it's thousands, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to keep on doing it and keep on doing it, because consistency is the only way you get good. You're not going to be good when you start off in 2025 and say, my life is going to change. I'm going to hit the gym every day. I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to get a promotion, and that's just the way it's going to happen. And then I'm going to do it a little here and a little there, and then watch it come in. It don't work that way. You got to say, I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to be consistent again. I'm going to show up again. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn. I'm going to evaluate, and I'm going to keep being consistent. Number 9, if you want to win at life, it's about what you don't do. I see so many people, they want to win in life, but they're not willing to do what they need to do. Your vices, your comfort of sleeping in and taking it easy, that won't get you there. Whatever you want in life, you have to pay the price. Everyone listening to this podcast wants to be a millionaire. Everyone wants to have 6-pack abs. Everyone wants to be, the best in relationships. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone listening to this podcast would tell you They want out of their job, or they want a successful business. They want to own their own company, all these different things. But the question I ask them, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to get rid of the vices that are holding you back? Are you really willing to get rid of the comfort of sleeping in instead of getting up and going to the gym at 5? Are you really willing to do what it takes and pay the price? Number 10. One of the things that really held me back for a while until I was in my mid-30s and found this good mentor is I always had ability to make a little bit of money in high school and different things. And, I pay for my own truck, my own college, my own clothes, all these different things. But I always had a problem with focus because I could do so many different things. I would just hop from this to that to whatever. In my mid-30s, the guy told me, he said, Jeremy, you're a gifted individual, but you need to learn to focus. So at 32, when I was writing out my clear vision, and I told my wife, give me 4 years, our family would never worry about money again, I wrote down these 4 buckets that I was going to focus on. And that was family, relationships, business, which is your finances, and wellness. So I wrote down family, relationships, business, and wellness. And I basically said this right here. If it does not move the meter in these 4 buckets, I don't have time for it. And I focused on those 4 areas. I did date nights with my wife. I spent time with my boys when I wasn't working, and I worked a whole lot. I worked a whole lot because I recognized that they was young, and I wanted to be there for them where I could coach their baseball, where I could be there with them in their teenage year. I wanted to take care of business right then. So I'm not telling you I didn't work hard, but I made sure that my family was first, my relationships was second, and that's including with my Lord and Savior. I wanted to know that I kept things in line the right way, and then I put everything into my business. And I said, I'm going to flourish. I'm going to do everything I can do to make this successful. And then my wellness. Now, on relationships, I'll tell you this point. Clean up your friends. You don't need many. If they are not stoked about you winning, and if they don't make you better being around them, they will hold you back. They will keep you from hitting your clear vision. I promise you. But these 4 areas, it's all about focus. If it's not bringing good into my family, if it's not bringing good into my relationships, if it's not raising the bar on my business, if it's not raising the bar on my wellness, I don't have time for it. Hard true fact, the only way you're going to accomplish what you want in 2025 is these 10 points. You got to have a clear vision. Don't think small, only big. Don't waste 1 minute of any day. You can't be successful alone. It takes other people. Nothing is impossible. You're not entitled to anything. And then become consistent, and you'll become the best. Be a strong man, self-confident, know what you want, who you are, your values. What are they? Be a leader in your home. Be a leader in the workforce, in your community. Weakness becomes a vessel for evil. Don't be weak. That's something that's very important. If you want to win in life, it's about what you don't do a lot of times. Get rid of the comfort and then focus on these 4 things. Your family, your relationships, your business, and your wellness. Thank you guys for joining the Hard Truth Podcast. Share with a friend or family member. I know you're not the only one hoping for 2025 like you want it. And these are 10 simple points that I promise you, if you put them to practice, you will succeed in the year of 2025. Thank you guys.
Let's go!